Hello, everyone. Today I am doing one trade that I think every NBA team should make this offseason. My name is Aaron. Let's get started. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I'm trying to grow my channel. It has a lot to do about sports and sports news. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you enjoy this video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. So our first team up here is the Philadelphia 76ers, and the trade that I think that Philadelphia should make is a salary dump, giving up Furkan Korkmaz, the foreign wing that they've had on their roster for a very long time. I think that a good team to dump him to would be the Washington Wizards because they're just completely tanking. I think if they could get Anthony Gill for Furkan Korkmaz and then include a second round pick or two to get off the salary. Let's give up a 2027 second and a 2029 second to Washington just because you're giving up a negative asset in Korkmaz, and it is a successful trade. So this is the trade I think that the 76ers should make. Now on to the next team. Our next team here is the Milwaukee Bucks. And for the Bucks, they are a team with championship aspirations, but they fired their previous championship winning head coach Mike Budenholzer and brought in a first-time head coach Adrian Griffin, who Giannis liked. So we will see this year how well Griffin can do as a first-year head coach. But with the players still under contract for the Milwaukee Bucks, it's gonna be hard to try to find a trade for the guys that are under contract right now. But I think that the trade that they should do is a trade with the. This is hard because the Bucks have a lot of free agents this year. Actually, let's do a Brook Lopez sign and trade with the Houston Rockets. We're assuming that the Rockets get James Harden in this universe, and they're looking for a veteran big man to help run the show with Harden, play some defense, get some rebounds. So we are going to do this. We are going to sign and trade, sign new contract, standard contract, contract length. We're going to sign Lopez to a 3-year deal worth 15 million a year. And we're going to sign and trade Lopez to the Houston Rockets. And I don't know what they're going to get yet. Let's just move me up here. I have no idea what I'm going to get them. But let's do this. Trade to Rockets. And in this trade, I'm going to give the Bucks. The Bucks are looking to win now. I'm going to give them Jayshawn Tate, 6'4" wing. He's going to really help on the Bucks wing spot with some 3-and-D potential that the Rockets haven't fully exploited yet. And then Dayshawn Nix as well. I think if they get those two guys, that would be amazing in this trade. And then if they get pick 20, who the Rockets are trying to trade for a future pick, and because they're trying to trade for a future first-round pick, I think if they're getting Lopez, I think they would be fine with getting a 2027 second-rounder in this deal as well. So if we try the trade between the Bucks and the Rockets, it is a success, where the Bucks get Dayshawn Nix, Jayshawn Tate, the 20th overall pick, and the Rockets get Brook Lopez and a 2027 second-rounder. Now on to the next team. Our next team here is the Chicago Bulls, who did end up losing in the play-in tournament to the Miami Heat, I think. Yeah, they lost to the Heat because the play-in teams were the Heat and the Hawks. So the Bulls did not end up making the playoffs this year, even though they won their first play-in game. And I think that what they should do is make a really big 3-teamer. I actually thought of this trade in 2K. It ended up working. Who knows? I don't think it's really that realistic, but if it does, each team is willing to do it, then sure, why not? So the trade is Bradley Beal's already off the team in this universe. The trade is Kristaps Porzingis is headed to the Bulls because the Wizards are going to be rebuilding, I think. The Kings get Zach LaVine in this universe. And so then the Wizards, who are giving up Kristaps, get Rashawn Holmes for salary purposes. And then they also get, let's do PJ Dozier. I'm just trying to find any contract that they have. And then they're probably going to have to sign and trade somebody or give up Kevin Huerter. Let's give Kevin Huerter to the Bulls and sign and trade Alex Lynn, I guess. Lynn will, in this universe, sign a 1-year deal, but it will just be worth a lot of money. It'll be $6 million just to match salaries. Just like the Pelicans did with the Thunder a few years ago, they just signed a bunch of random guys for like $5 million just to match salaries or something, if I remember correctly. We'll send him to the Bulls. So the Bulls are getting a really good package. Actually, you're going to have to send Lynn to the Wizards because they're getting nothing for Porzingis right now. And in this universe, Porzingis is accepting his player option. So the Wizards aren't going to get as much for Porzingis since he will be a expiring contract in this world, or if this trade were to happen. But the Bulls get pick 24. And then, so the Bulls are getting pick 24, Kristaps Porzingis and Kevin Huerter. I think that's fine. And then the Wizards will get this pick, 2026 first round pick, top 10 protected, and I guess a 2029 first round pick. I think this trade could happen in real life because Levine and Porzingis are two players that could be traded in real life. The Bulls are unable to complete the trade, so where does it say? Adjust trade. So we're going to adjust it. The Bulls need to give up a little bit more salary for the deal to work. I'm going to have them give up just like Carlik Jones and Marko Simonovic to the Wizards. And hopefully it'll work now. And it is a success. So in this trade, the Wizards would be getting Alex Lynn, Rashawn Holmes, PJ Dozier, Marko Simonovic, Carlik Jones, and 2 future first-rounders from Sacramento. And the Kings would be getting Zach LaVine, and the Bulls would get Kristaps Porzingis, Kevin Huerter, and the 24th overall pick. Now on to the next team. Our next team here is the Cavaliers, who were a very competitive team last year, but they ended up getting eliminated in the first round to the New York Knicks in I think 6 games, maybe it was 5. But what the Cavaliers need to do is they need to consolidate on their wing players. Right now they have Isaac Okoro, who they're going to probably accept his team option. Then they have Jetty Osman, Dean Wade, Lamar Stevens, and Karis LeVert, who all should be getting minutes on the wing. And then they might even sign some guy for cheap. So I think that the deal that they should do is give up one of those wing players. And the person that I have in mind is giving up Dean Wade, who they just signed to a deal not that long ago. I think that a potential taker for Wade, who is still pretty young, he's a good defender, good scorer, he's a power forward / small forward. I think that a team that may be interested in a Dean Wade type player would be the New Orleans Pelicans, especially if they're trading away Zion. They would be looking to take a flyer on a guy like Wade. So if they give Wade to the Pelicans, what they would be getting back would be like, I guess, you don't want to get any more wings. That's why they're making this trade in the first place. I guess let's just give them their pick next year, but no. Let's do just a 2029 lottery protected first round pick to the Cavaliers for Dean Wade. I think that's a fair trade. Should work. It failed. Wow. Let's adjust it. The Pelicans need to give back some player. Let's have them give back Garrett Temple in this trade. It should work now. And it is a success. Now on to the next team. Our next team is the Boston Celtics, a team that made it all the way to the conference finals this year before being eliminated by the Miami Heat. And this team, I think if they made it back to the finals like they did a few years ago, could have won it all. But they didn't end up making the finals. So I think that the trade that they could make would be getting rid of a guard like they have been rumored to be wanting to do in real life. I think the guard that they want to give up in this scenario is Peyton Pritchard, and a potential taker would be the Portland Trailblazers. And I think that an outline of a deal, would be like Pritchard to the Trailblazers. No, let's not do the Trailblazers. Let's think. Go down the list. Bucks don't need a point guard, really. 76ers, unless they lose Harden, but Pritchard wouldn't be the fix for losing Harden. Cavs, no. Knicks, no. Nets, no. Actually, the Hawks, because they've been looking for a backup point guard for Trae Young for a long time. And in this world, we're assuming that they do not draft one. And that reminds me, tomorrow I should be making my third mock draft before the draft. So let's do Pritchard to the Hawks. They're accepting his team option here. And in return, the Hawks will be giving up. They don't have many good assets. I guess they'll be giving up Garrison Matthews, a former Celtic. So he'll be going to the Celtics along with pick 46 and a 2024 second rounder and 2027 second rounder. So 3 second rounders and Garrison Matthews. Matthews is just there to match salaries. I think this is a trade that could happen in real life. Let's see if it works. It does work. Now on to the next team, which is the Clippers. Our next team here is the LA Clippers, who I think should go after Chris Paul, which they are rumored to do in real life. That's not what I think that they should do. I just think that it is what they will do. So that is, I guess, good enough. We're going to have to recreate the trade here and just make it into a 3-teamer since Fanspo hasn't already added it to their trade thingy. So they get Isaiah Todd and Jordan Goodwin. And then I don't know how many second round picks they actually ended up getting. But Chris Paul's going to end up going to the Clippers. Shamet's going to still go to the Wizards. And then they got I don't know how many second rounders. They got some second rounders and some pick swaps. So I guess this is a pick swap, so maybe they're getting this one since it's already a swap. And then let's just give them these 2 second rounders. We don't know what the second rounders and the first rounders are yet, but we'll just give up those for now. And then the Clippers are going to be giving up Eric Gordon to the Wizards in this deal, along with Amir Coffey, a young wing, who still has some potential. And I guess that's it. And then they'll also give up, I guess, a 2029 first. Every team's giving this pick away, in real life and in this video. So Gordon and Coffey and a future pick for Chris Paul. I think that makes a lot of sense. Paul's not going to do much for you. Did I even give Beal up? Yeah, I did. I don't think Paul's going to do much for the Wizards anyway. The Suns step in rule, okay. So adjust the trade. The Suns just can't give up this 2027 or 2029 first rounder. No, 2027. Excuse me. The Suns can't give up this pick. So who knows what picks are really going to Washington. But I think that this is a trade that the Clippers could and should make. So now on to our next team, which should be the Grizzlies. Okay, our next team is the Memphis Grizzlies, who desperately need some wing help, especially if Dylan Brooks is not back next year. Their wings for next year are John Conchar. I don't even know who else. It's Conchar, David Roddy, and Jake LaRavia, basically. So I think that the deal that they should make, it's been floated around a lot, is Tyus Jones getting traded. And this is an interesting one because this is assuming that the Hornets don't take Scoot Henderson and take Brandon Miller. But I think that the trade that should happen is the Grizzlies trading for Gordon Hayward. It would be Tyus Jones and then Luke Kennard to match the salaries. And then also pick 56, who I don't think the Grizzlies care about that pick at all. And then the Hornets are giving up pick 27 and then what other pick? 2027 lottery protected pick, I guess. To the Grizzlies because they are getting a shooter from the Grizzlies who actually helped the Grizzlies a lot down the stretch, and Tyus Jones, one of the best backup point guards in the entire NBA. This trade's a little bit far fetched, but who knows? It might happen, and then I would look smart. Our next team should be the Hawks. I'll see you then. Okay, everyone, our next team is the Atlanta Hawks, who I have seen some rumors about them trading Clint Capella to the Pelicans. Or not the Pelicans, what am I doing? The Dallas Mavericks. And I think that that would be an interesting trade, so I'm going to see how that would look here. The Mavericks have Christian Wood, but he is going to be a free agent this year. I don't think that they're going to bring him back. Even if they do, he was the sixth man on this team to start the year, so you would have to include Davis Bertans to match salaries. So that basically matches the salaries. I guess JaVale McGee as well, just to give them another big man. And then from here on, you have to give up some draft capital, which they don't have much of. But okay, let's expand this trade a little because I think that they should give up pick 10 here, but they're not giving up pick 10 for Clint Capella, so they need to get something else back in this trade. Actually, let's do this. Let's swap picks. They get pick 15. So the Hawks trade up 5 picks for Clint Capella, and they get no wait, they trade up. I don't know what I'm saying. They trade up 5 picks for JaVale McGee, Davis Bertans, and pick 10. They give up Clint Capella and pick 15. Is that enough from the Mavericks? I'm not sure. I think that should be enough. Yeah, that should be enough. They don't have any more assets. Our next team should be the Heat. I'll see you guys in a few seconds. Okay, now it's time for the Heat. This is for this next team trade. I'm gonna go a little bit far fetched. I don't think this is really gonna happen in real life, but it has been rumored, so I guess I'm gonna have Damian Lillard to the Heat for Kyle Lowry to match salaries. Tyler Hero. Does that already match? 20. Okay, yeah, that matches. And then I guess they gotta get like Haywood Highsmith. He's kind of young. And then they would have to get a ton of picks. Pick 18 would have to go to Portland. Then they can trade this pick and this pick. And then I guess give up this second rounder. I don't know if that's enough for Dame, but that's basically all that the Heat can give up. Lowry, Hero, Haywood Highsmith, and 3 firsts. I think that Portland might actually end up trading away Dame because they're going to look at the Bradley Beal situation and say, hopefully that doesn't happen to us, and let's just get it done before we have to worry. And this could be a trade that ends up happening. I'll see you guys in a few seconds for the Hornets. Okay, the Hornets now are our next team. And this is going to be tough because I have no idea what trade this team could or should make. They have a very interesting team right now, but I think I'm going to go with a Gordon Hayward trade. And actually, for the answer for this one, what trade the Hornets should make, I'm just going to do the exact same trade as I did for Memphis. I think that this would be a great trade for both teams. I don't remember exactly what the trade was, but y'all can go back and see for yourselves. So we'll skip this one. And so our next team is the Utah Jazz. And this one gets a little bit interesting because for the Jazz, I really don't think that they should make a trade unless they draft a guard because then they would have Ochai Agbaji, Taylor Horton Tucker, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Chris Dunn. They would have a lot of guards. That's my point. So what I think that the Jazz should do is trade. I really don't know right here. This is where it gets really tough. I'm gonna have the Jazz trade. Let's see who's available. Ooh, imagine they can get Gary Trent. Let's say he accepts his player option. This would be a really good trade. No, never mind. Because they already have a really good scoring shooting guard who can't play much defense in Jordan Clarkson. But what if they get OG Anunoby and put Markkanen at the power forward, the position that he normally played in Chicago and everywhere anyway? So you get Anunoby, and you give up Taylor Horton Tucker and Kelly Olynyk, as well as pick 28, because you don't need three firsts, and a 2027 LA pick, lottery protected. I think that's enough for. No, you gotta give up another pick, actually. And then this pick also, pick swap, the better team gets it. So I think that's enough for OG. It makes sense. The trade goes through. It's three firsts, Taylor Horton Tucker, and Kelly Olynyk. You get a 3-and-D small forward. And we're on to the next team, the Sacramento Kings. Our next team here is the Sacramento Kings. And I think that the deal that the Kings should do is make a trade for some bench depth. And I think that the team that comes from would be, I guess, let's make a trade here with the. Ooh, no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe trade for Devonte Graham from the Spurs. Let's do a trade with the Thunder. The Thunder are gonna have a tough roster situation this year. Let's do let's take Jeremiah Robinson Earl. I think that would be a really good fit on the Kings, Robinson Earl. If they can get him, he's a power forward who can play some defense, shoot a little bit out of Villanova. He's a really good player. I think the Thunder in this trade would have to take back PJ Dozier, a former Thunder player, played his rookie year there on a two-way deal. And Robinson Earl can play center too. That's why it doesn't really matter with Lyles as much. And then the Thunder just trade down one pick because they already made a trade trading away from 37, so they don't own this pick anymore. They have 38. This trade should work, and it does. And now we are on to the next team, the New York Knicks. Okay, the Knicks here, they made it to the second round of the playoffs before they lost to the miraculous Heat. And with a pretty good free agency class this year, compared to next year especially, I think the Knicks need to get off the contract of Evan Fournier. And a team that could take on that salary, especially if Victor Wembanyama wants to pair with another French guy, is the Spurs. Because, of course, Wembanyama's French, Fournier's French. Why not just pair them together? You get Kim Birch to kind of match salaries, I guess. Because I think the Spurs have a lot of cap room, so they can take on this Fournier contract. And then to get off the contract, the Knicks give up a top 5 protected 2029 first round pick just because that Fournier contract, he still has another year left on it. It's a terrible contract. So I will see you guys with the next one, the Lakers. Our next team is the Los Angeles Lakers. And we're not doing any sign and trade, or actually we are doing sign and trades. What am I talking about? I think if this is available, then what the Lakers should do is re-sign D'Angelo Russell on a 4-year deal. Why is it only saying $5 million? What the heck? Based on performance, $5.3 million. That's the ultimate like D'Angelo Russell hate right there. They think that he should only make $5 million this offseason. He's definitely making more than that. Let's give him a starting salary of 28, then up to 32, then jumps up to 33, then jumps up to 35. Because we're going to do a really good sign and trade here. And if I think if it's available, then it would be a perfect trade for the Lakers to get another really good scorer, and it is sign and trading for Zach LaVine. It would be the perfect fit for the Lakers to have a good shooting guard who can score. They would just have to get a point guard for cheap. Maybe play Austin Reeves at the point guard. Maybe even play Zach LaVine at the point guard. But here you would give up D'Angelo Russell, Mo Bamba, I guess, who hasn't really proven much in his career, and then send Shaq Harrison back to the Bulls, and then give up the 47th pick and the 2029 first. Does this work? It does work. So I think this is a good trade. I think that if the Lakers have this opportunity to make this trade, then they do it. I think that the Bulls aren't getting enough, but I don't feel like going and fixing it. So I will see you guys with the next one for the Orlando Magic. Now we have the Orlando Magic, and I think that a trade that this team should do is sign and trade for Fred VanVleet. I think that they give up Gary Harris, because I think VanVleet, unless the Rockets don't get Harden, then they would be the only team that would really seriously go after VanVleet. So we're not going to assign. We're not just going to change his contract or anything. Just imagine it's a sign and trade. Give up John Isaac, who they're basically giving up on in this situation, and then give up Gary Harris and Admiral Schofield. I think that's a fair trade. Then give up pick 36, and this Denver pick in 2025, because Denver will probably be pretty good then, so you won't have to worry about that being a top pick. The Raptors need to give up $1.7 million in this trade, so I think that a guy that they would give back is Joe Wieskamp, who I think is still on the roster. I think he signed a 2-year deal, but he's now a part of the Magic after this hypothetical trade. And the Magic maybe are contenders after this trade. And I'll see you guys for the next one with the Mavericks. Our next team is a team that completely underperformed this season, the Dallas Mavericks. And they have a lot of bad contracts on their team, so they need to go out and trade for an overpaid star. And I don't think that this is the deal that they'll actually make in real life, but it is a deal that I would make if it is available. And it is trading for DeAndre Ayton. You would give up Tim Hardaway. Of course, you would be getting Ayton. I would give up Tim Hardaway, sign and trade Dwight Powell for a cheap deal for like 2 years, and let's just give him $5 million per. So Powell, who I think the Suns should sign anyway for like a minimum contract if he's willing to take a pay cut to win a championship. So you get him, and let's also give them Reggie Bullock, I guess. This is just because the Suns need some more depth, and if they can do this trade, then they get a new starting center, backup small forward, or unless they don't get Okogie, I guess you can start him, and then backup for Beal or Booker, whoever you put at shooting guard, and then you get pick 10 in this trade because maybe the Mavericks really believe in DeAndre Ayton. Maybe pick 10 is too much. Comment down below if it is. Oh crap, the recording's about to end. This is part 1. Tomorrow I'm doing part 2, but this is part 1, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.